Alright guys, so I'm just going to talk through a little bit of this video, get some things out there that I've been looking at, working on, but haven't really been able to put out. This was going to be a much longer, a much different video about Project Mercury and some other things, but these are just things I need to point out that if no one's ever talked about, because I haven't seen it, then again, don't follow a lot of content creators on Armored Core, so let's just get started. First of all, I recently found out that a lot of charged melee weapons have a type of hyper armor or stun resistance in that animation. I don't know when it starts, but it's been pretty useful in making sure that you can get your melee out if you need the charged attack when you need it. If an ACS breaks you, you're still going to get broke. And I don't know exactly what and won't break this, but something to have. That said, for the state of the Berzeal, the boosters, the quick drain issues, and the other things I've talked about in other videos a little while ago, the speed change is not super bad, kind of reminds me of the V3 from 4NFA, but at the same time, the drain on the quick boost still bothers me a little bit when I think about it, because I just don't feel like it was deserved. The biggest part with this is just, it's a little over the top. And I don't understand with what From wanted to do, adding the new quad frame, which can just chase everybody down as a lightweight at 400 while hovering, versus give, lightweights or anyone else the ability to use the Berzeal with no issue. What I would change, since we're on the topic, is I would just change the scaling on the assault boost of pretty much every booster above, say, 60, 70, 75,000 weight cap. Just drag the 80, 90 cap down to one of those, call it a day, and see where it lands. If you don't want heavy ACs catching lights like that, that's the only way to do it. Again, kind of a dubious prospect in my opinion, but it's the only one I can really think of. Again, I also don't have access to game math, so there's that. What Project Mercury needs in terms of part selection is a better right-hand weapon, which we can't really do right now. I've tried on a lot of things, and currently the Werger is still the best one. A generator that doesn't exist. Big capacity, lightweight. I don't care so much for the recharge, but the coral generators aren't cut. And the Hokushi is kind of fat, but it works. Again, that AC is a compromise. The learning process with Mercury has actually been kind of nice. Where to fight and when, detailing that Mercury is very sensitive to the opponent's build or playstyle. Certain things have come to my attention based on what and when I operate the AC, because it's not meta and it's more fun. It's also forced to play drastically different games versus opponents, which have been an interesting learning experience, but it's helped me a lot more than playing the meta ACs. Now, how oppressive can you be with the missiles and what you risk with each time you close should be obvious. CQB-AC like Mercury is kind of dubious, especially when there's things out there with dual Viento builds or hammer quads, and they're going to give you a problem if you can't keep them out until you're ready to close in and get your Werger Ashmead combo. Especially now that the Berzeal nerf doesn't give you 150 kph on them anymore, essentially you're not running away even as a light. The light you've seen on the channel, SWAT, I think goes about 530 with the Berzeal, 525, something like that. It's real slow in comparison to what you could get up to. That leaves the only real option as deterrence, which can be tricky outside of meta. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel, or maybe show up for just Armored Core or just here from Elden Ring, this is kind of always how things have gone for me, and it's just unfortunate how things are. I typically learn stuff in the melee concept very slowly, and it'll take time, but we'll get there, and by the time I have all of this together, the channel will have more concise build content such as the dissection of 213, which has gotten a small buff and continuation of Project Mercury, provided it continues to survive. Rock, paper, scissors of the game, or rock, paper, mech as we've come to call it, is something I dislike about it. This can be summed up pretty well in the idea that I think the pilot should dictate the match as much as possible, and the AC is just the tools they brought to do so. I do not think the tools themselves should hand the pilot a victory by virtue of simply existing and pressing a few buttons here and there. Now, this might sound like a dig at missile boat builds, and you could certainly think of it as that, but in the end, those guys used to have to work pretty hard for any results. The problem with this game is isn't the missiles or the boats. I don't have a good handle on where I'm going with this game yet either. Typically, I'm known for lightweight biped RJs, which are snipers, and very little else, and shenanigans around that. This game doesn't even have that as an option. So I'm currently forcing myself in different playstyles to figure out how to proceed. You've all seen I like Project Mercury, so there's probably something to working with melee builds, even if I consider them bad. That said, all in all, this update was originally going to be a Project Mercury Dissected, but that's going to be put off because I need more info, more patches, and my internet needs to stop being weird. Hopefully by the time you guys see this video, that last bit is taken care of, but you never know. I'm doing what I can with this, but sometimes it's out of my hands, unfortunately. And right now, that's kind of where we're at. I'll keep producing what I can, as usual, and you should still see regular videos going up, even if they're kind of wonky. Hopefully you enjoy, and hopefully this has at least given you some direction on what you can expect in the future. Thanks for sticking around.